Today, I want to make a simple statement to you and then explain it. And that statement is, don't let anybody tell you what synthesizer to buy. Now, as I try to explain my point here, I have a tendency to kind of try to counter all the arguments that will be said all at the same time. So I'm going to try not to do that today. I'm going to explain what I said and the reasons that I said it. Then we can talk more in the comments if you like. One of the reasons that I would say don't let anybody tell you what synthesizer to buy is simply because a synthesizer, in my opinion, is just such a personal instrument. You have specific things that you plan to do with your music or want to do or want to learn or want to try, and there is a correct synthesizer for that. It may not, pretty much there's no 100% perfect synthesizer. But for what you're doing with your music and what you're trying to learn, what you want to accomplish, there's a synthesizer out there that will check most of the boxes. So it's important that before you buy a synthesizer, you need to understand what you want to accomplish. This is something that I'm telling you all this stuff from experience, like from spending the last few years working through different synthesizers, and it's been really educational, both from the standpoint of learning a lot more about synthesizers, but also learning what not to do when you're looking for one. So again, don't let anybody tell you what synthesizer to buy. Let me also qualify that by saying, if you're searching for a synthesizer, maybe your first one, and you have someone that you can ask questions to, by all means do that. Don't go out and just say, well, I'm going to watch 4 or 5 YouTube videos and hope that I find the right thing and I'll go buy it. If you've got someone that you can talk to, definitely do that. And then they might actually say, this is what you need, and you might make that purchase. But the point is, there are some amazing creators on YouTube that can make, a $20 yard sale keyboard sound otherworldly almost. So those are the kind of things where if you base your purchasing decision on that demo you just heard, likely you're going to make a bad purchase. Not in every case, but a lot of times. What I have found is that, I've done that a couple of times. So what I found is that when I get this synthesizer into the studio and turn it on, and I jam down on that first chord, I'm like, man, this is going to be so good. And I hit it, and it's like, that is not what I expected or hoped for. And so the point is, there are people on YouTube that, again, they have a fantastic setup. So just buying based on what you hear, any YouTube creator doing on their one synthesizer for that 30-second clip you chose to listen to probably isn't the best option for you. So the question has to be asked, if you can't make your purchasing decision based upon a demo from a YouTube creator, what is the best way to figure out the synthesizer that you want? Well, again, I would say it to anybody, and people have asked me about buying a synthesizer. The first question you have got to answer is, what do you want to do with it? What do you want it to do when it gets to your house, in your studio, wherever you're going to put it? You need to know that up front. But once you've answered that question, there are a few different things you can do. Obviously, you can listen to the YouTube demos of these synthesizers, and I recommend doing it. I'm just saying, don't listen to 1 or 2 and just say, okay, that's what I need, and go get it. You're going to find that synthesizers vary wildly in their capability and their features, but definitely do listen to some demos. But then, if you have any way to do it, go to a store and play the synthesizer and try to figure out how it works, and listen to it. See if it. This is going to sound weird. See if it speaks to you. I mean, I've got synthesizers in my studio that aren't necessarily the best bang for the buck, or have been left behind by the majority years ago, but I connect with them, and that's important to me. And I think it's a real thing. I think, I've had synthesizers before that were supposed to be just amazing machines, and they probably are, but I turned it on, I didn't connect with the machine, and off it went. So get in there into a store if you can, or a studio, somebody that has one, whatever it is, get your hands on it and just see what happens. Give yourself a little time to listen to it, to interact with it. And again, that's a great way to get to further develop your list of what you're looking for and maybe eliminate some of the options off that list. Another recommendation is there are plenty of forums on the internet, synthesizer related, but try to find a synthesizer community. Maybe it's on a Facebook page or something, but try to find a synthesizer community and read some of the threads and see. Again, this is more of a touchy-feely thing, but see how people interact with each other. If it's just a whole bunch of bashing this guy or that synth, or bashing you because you think that's a cool synthesizer, like, stay away from that kind of stuff. But look for some good content that is positive and is actually constructive. It actually can give you some help, and engage in those kind of places. Those are my recommendations. Again, listen to what's out there with the people making demos. Get into the stores if you can. The closest music store to me, and I'm in the St. Louis area, mind you, the closest decent music store to me is at least a 30-minute drive. And when I say decent, it's a chain, and they're only going to have 4 or 5 or 6 synthesizers in there, and likely none of them are in my wheelhouse. But again, I can go in there and play those things and be like, okay, I don't want that one, I don't want that one, and help keep my list narrowed down to what I'm really after. So yeah, get into the stores if you can, and then try to connect with some online communities. I mean, I am a super small YouTube channel in the big scheme of things, but we've had a lot of good conversations on my channel, and my email address is in my About tab. So feel free to reach out to me. I don't know, there's guys out there that know a ton more about a ton more than I do, but I'm always happy to help answer questions if I can. So again, just to recap, I don't want to just say, don't let anybody tell you what to buy, and then not give you some ideas about how to develop that thought about what you want to get. But again, listen to sounds. It's important, because if you know you're after some kind of an analog sound, for example, it doesn't even have to be an analog machine, but that's the sound you want. This otherworldly, you want sound effects, you want your basic sound waves, sound shapes that you can just edit with the filter in real time. That's one kind of thing you're gonna want to look for and listen to, that will help you. If you know that those science fiction sounds are great, but I really need a synthesizer that I can take out and play with the band, that's going to have good organ sounds, good electric pianos, good acoustic pianos. Those kind of things are important to me. Well, that's likely a whole different kind of synthesizer, or again, there's a different path you may want to start traveling down to look for those. So again, at this point I'm rambling, but the point is, don't pull up the latest, greatest, hugest review from the biggest YouTuber you can find, watch them play that synthesizer and say, that's what I need, that's what I got to get. Start out with, what is my goal? What do I want to do with this synthesizer when I get it? And then go from there. And I guarantee you that if you'll do that and have a little patience, sometimes it's so easy to just click on buy and have it shipped to you. Exercise just a little bit of patience, do some research, and you will be so much happier at the end of the day with the choice you make if you'll do that. So again, I appreciate you sticking around for this long ramble. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel, I'd love to have you join here and keep up with what we're doing. But I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.